I remember seeing Deja mentioning that Kenji blocked him, which my first thought was I'm thinking Kenji thought that Deja looked too similar to him, and that's why he blocked him. But yeah, I'm curious to see what is to say about the situation.
Similarities are pretty common in the VTuber space. People share hair colours, aesthetics, themes, and even the same inspiration.
Like, I guess, like, despite the hair, like, he still, like, looks very different. But like, yeah, honestly, I think Kenji probably just, like, or maybe he took it to heart or something. But yeah, let's see.
But sometimes those similarities go beyond coincidence, and that's when the conversation about copying starts happening. Today I want to talk about the line between sharing an inspiration and being seen as a copycat. We've seen plenty of examples over the years. There are cases where people have copied designs almost piece for piece, and others where they've gone even further by mimicking someone's personality, mannerisms, or their way to speak. A few months ago, I covered the situation involving Nines and Noir. No matter what changes Nines made to her design or artwork, Noir seemed to follow with something incredibly similar. Whether it was intentional or not is something only Noir truly knows, but from the outside, it certainly looked like she was trying to position herself as being closely associated with Nines. Then there's probably one of the most well-known examples, Small Lola and Shy Lily.
Yeah, like in the VTuber sphere, like if your VTuber model looks slightly similar to another VTuber, it just goes full Mean Girls drama there.
Designs shared obvious similarities. The outfits looked incredibly alike, and even their voices sounded remarkably close.
As much as I want to honor Twin and her beautiful work because she deserves all of the praise in the world, every time people talk about my model in a very nice light, they compare it to others, and I don't think I like that very much.
But thank you so much for all the follows. Hearts. This time
They
chat
sound
real good. It's not chat's fault. It's probably something I did. I'll try fix it later.
Whether that voice similarity was natural or intentional is impossible to say, but when you combine everything together, it became more than just them both being CVTubers. This brings me to myself. I've actually talked about this before, often comparing myself and Kenji in these situations. We're both VTubers inspired by Sun Wukong, but I've always felt our designs were different enough to stand on their own. Don't get me wrong, I still get the occasional comment on Twitter, YouTube or TikTok where someone mistakes me for Kenji or assumes I copied him, but usually it's just a misunderstanding that's easy enough to clear up. If you actually compare our models though, there are plenty of differences. Our clothing is completely different, our colour palettes are different, even the overall themes aren't the same. Kenji's design mainly revolves around reds, blues and some yellow highlights, while mine is primarily yellow and black with red highlights.
The only similarity I see is like the hair and tail.
I could spend ages pointing out individual differences, but the reality is this. Once someone has decided you're copying another creator, it's incredibly difficult to change their mind. The funny thing is, my inspiration didn't come from Kenji at all. I've loved Journey to the West and Sun Wukong for as long as I can remember. I grew up watching different adaptations and playing games based around the characters. Even before I became a VTuber, Wukong was already part of the identity I used while streaming online. So when I finally decided to become a VTuber, it felt right to represent a human version of Sun Wukong. When I started gathering references, there were two designs that inspired me the most. The first was Son Goku, but not the one you're thinking of. Actually, the one from Sayuki, an old anime that reimagines Journey to the West in a more modern setting.
I kind of sort of remember that.
I loved the series growing up,
pink hair
so it naturally became one of my biggest references. The second, and honestly biggest inspiration, was Wukong from Extraordinary Ones. Unfortunately, the global version of the game isn't around anymore, but that version of Wukong is the main reference I used for both my 1.0 and 2.0. Looking at them side by side, it's pretty obvious where my inspirations came from. My original 1.0 leaned more into an armor design, but even then it still featured the yellow, black and red colour scheme, the sideburns, the scarf and the headband. When I upgraded to 2.0, I wanted a much more modern interpretation. Now, before anyone twists this into drama, this is not a call out video. I have nothing against Kenji. In fact, it's the complete opposite. When I first started VTubing, I actually didn't know who he was. Later, once I found out he was another creator, also based on some Wukong, I naturally became interested. I watched his streams, enjoyed his content, brought several pieces of his merch, and proudly displayed them alongside the rest of my Wukong collectibles. From my perspective, I never saw us as competitors. I just saw two creators who both loved the same legendary character.
Yeah.
Sure, we occasionally play similar games, but our personalities, content styles, and the way we present...
Okay, like a lot of us VTubers play the same games. Like, that shouldn't, like, be the issue.
...ourselves couldn't be more different. I've never tried to act like him or become another Kenji, which is why it came as a genuine surprise when I discovered I'd been blocked by him on Twitter recently. Honestly, I understand why it might happen. Most of the time, when creators encounter someone who appears very similar to them, it eventually turns into unnecessary drama. People start arguing, fans get involved, accusations...
Honestly, it would be really cool, like, if there would be a gathering of all the Wukong VTubers. I was thinking, like, if they're like at a future convention, they could just do a gathering of all just Wukong VTubers, and yeah, they would all like have like different, you know, designs and stuff, and yeah, just celebrate, you know, their, you know, diversity. And I think that'd be really cool. And quite frankly, I would say Deja and Kenji would get along personally.
Start flying, and nobody wins. So from his perspective, maybe blocking first was simply the easiest way to avoid that, and I can understand that. But at the same time, as someone who supported him, brought his merch, watched his content, and spoke positively about him whenever he came up, it still stings. Especially knowing I was never given the chance to explain where my own inspiration actually came from. Looking back, reacting to some of his content and tweeting about him as a fan probably didn't help either. Even though my intentions were always positive, I can see how it might have looked from the outside. And I think that's really the point I'm trying to make. Whether you believe you're copying someone or not doesn't actually matter. If enough people think you are, those comparisons are going to happen anyway. As VTubing continues growing and becoming more mainstream, we're only going to see more creators inspired by the same characters, aesthetics, and themes. Some people absolutely will copy others, there's no denying that, but there's also plenty of creators who will simply arrive at similar ideas because they're inspired by the same source material. If you ever find yourself being accused of copying someone when that genuinely wasn't your intention, my advice is simple. Don't spend all your energy trying to convince strangers, just keep being yourself. Eventually, your own personality, your own content, and your own community will speak louder than the comparisons ever could.
Yeah.
As for me, out of respect to Kenji, this will probably be the last time I mention Kenji or react to his content.
Yeah.
Not because I dislike him, quite the opposite, but because I think creating that distance is probably the healthiest thing for everyone involved.
Respect.
And who knows, maybe one day he'll see this and realise there was never any bad intention behind any of it, just another fan who happened to love the same legendary Monkey King. But that's enough from me. What do you think? Do you think this is becoming a bigger issue as VTubing grows? Or do you think some similarity?
Yeah, I think Kenji just got off on the wrong foot and just thought that, you know, just made a big assumption, just made an assumption without really looking into it. But honestly, I really hope that he watched this video so he can like understand this better.
Are just the result of creators sharing the same inspirations. Let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Yeah, W video. Oh, shoot, sorry,
Hey gang,
oh my god.
similarities
But yeah, I really hope Kenji would watch this video if enough of his fans would watch it. But yeah, that was very well spoken. Yeah, and also if you guys haven't checked out Deja, please go subscribe to his channel. Yeah, he makes really good content, so please go check him out.